Hey, how's it going guys? Welcome back to the channel. Crimson Panda here, back with another set 9 deck guide video. So in today's video we're going to be taking a look at an Amethyst Steel mid-range list featuring one of Fable's new cards, and that is Scar. But before we get into the list, if you guys want to see this deck in action, then there will be a second video going live with some gameplay. So make sure you head down to the description, there will be a link there to that video so that you guys can check this deck out. And while you're down there, if you don't mind giving this video a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. And also make sure you leave a comment down there as well. I try to reply to every single comment. So if you have some deck suggestions or some video suggestions that you want me to post on the channel, then I'll be able to see those and reply to those as well. So with all that being said, let's take a look at the deck list itself. So for our one drops, we have Diablo, Royal Guard, and Captain Hook. Now, Diablo is probably one of the best drops in the game. Once his character is banished, you draw a card. He's going to sink you at least 2 lore. Nobody's going to want to be challenging this. And then by the time they do, you're going to be dropping one of your new cards, Lilo, to give it value and possibly trade yourself. So Diablo, just an absolute solid one drop for this deck. Then we also have Captain Hook next. Captain Hook is a 1-cost 3/2 essentially with the challenger, so you never really want to turn Captain Hook sideways unless you can guarantee him not being killed off. So you only really want to quest with him if you know he's not going to die. His main goal is to try and take a value trade, trying to trade into something bigger. For a 1-drop, trading into like a 3-drop would be really good value with Captain Hook, so that's why he is in the list. And then we have Royal Guard, so only 2 copies of Royal Guard. Royal Guard you can sub out for the 1-drop Rafiki with Challenger, or maybe even a Palace Guard as well with the 1/4 stat line and Vanish. But the reason I've decided to opt in for Royal Guard is because he's not really the 1-drop that you want to be finding on turn 1. You're kind of wanting to use Royal Guard once you've drew into him, and then just sticking him out on the board so that you can use Scar and use Scar ability to then buff him up by like maybe 5 or even 6 challenger to take a really big trade in the late game. So that's why I've opted in on Royal Guard over the other 1-drops. Okay, so going into our 2-drops, we have Kuzco, Calhoun, and Doc. So Kuzco, he's in there. He's the exact same as Diablo. People do not want to banish him because you're going to be drawing a card. So you're going to be able to get some value trades off later on for him. You're going to be able to maybe buff him up with, like I said, Lilo, to be able to punch into something with 3. Get a nice trade and draw a card. If not, you're going to be questing for a couple and then getting a card anyway. So Kuzco, really, really good in the list. Calhoun, quite self-explanatory. People don't want to turn sideways when Calhoun's on the board because they don't want you to trade, your guys survive, and then also get 2 lore at the same time. So Calhoun, fantastic to just be able to place her down and scare them to turn sideways. That helps you be able to turn your Diablo and your Cusco sideways because they aren't going to want to trade into them, give you a card draw, and potentially 2 lore because of Calhoun. So Calhoun coming down on 2 is absolutely huge. And then we also have Doc in there. So Doc is like a panic button if we don't find our Scar. You're going to be sinking through your hand quite quickly with this. You're going to be playing cards on curve. You're going with 1-drop, 2-drop, 3-drop, and then your 4-drop, with it being Genie or Tinkerbell, which we'll talk about in a little while. So Doc's there because you are going to you are going to run out of cards in your hand, and Doc's perfect to play on curve. When you've got like nothing in your hand, you play him on like turn 5, still got 3 ink left and drawing 2 cards. It's really, really good. Okay, so moving on to our 3-drops. So we have Giant Cobra, Tinkerbell, Lawrence, Lilo, and Pete. So let's start with Giant Cobra. So Giant Cobra is absolutely fantastic in this list. I was even considering putting in 4 instead of the 3 because of how good this card is. So what you want to be doing with this isn't a traditional Cobra play. So even though he's a 3-drop 4/4, with obviously the stat line Vanish, which is scary, he's coming down once you've done a nice Scar play. So what you're going to want to be doing is getting your Cobra down after you've got your Scar down. So you'll play Cobra for 3, you'll discard a card, gain 2 lore, and then you're going to either quest or trade with Scar to banish Cobra straight away to then draw 5 cards and discard 2, which might not sound huge, but if you're playing for 3 ink, you're playing a Giant Cobra, you're gaining 2 lore, and you're drawing 3 cards, that is insane value. And that is why Cobra is in the list, and it's getting you over that finish line as well in the late game. The amount of cards you're drawing with Scar you're going to be finding those Cobras and you're going to have more cards than you need in your hand. You might get 2 docks off of your drawers and want to get rid of one. So Cobra is just perfect for that situation. So yeah, Cobra really, really strong. Next up we have Tinkerbell. So Tinkerbell is in there because of the shift line tank. And this Tinkerbell obviously has evasive, so it's not going to be targeted by much. Yes, it is low on being able to challenge, but you're never challenging. She's there to sing your songs, which is just straight for the Raging Fire in this deck. And then primarily for your shift target. So Tinkerbell is amazing. Getting her on 3 is just perfect if you've got big tank in your hand ready to come down on turn 4. Then next up we have Lawrence. So Lawrence, kind of similar to Cobra, apart from you're not getting that initial 2 law straight away. But you are going to be playing a Lawrence in the late game. He's not necessarily a turn 3 play, but you play him in the late game to be able to just quest for 2, banish him, and draw 5 with Scar again. Getting 2 law off of a free drop and gaining cards is just really good. So that's why Lawrence is there. Lilo being the new card, so Lilo is really strong. I put 4 in because I wanted to try her as consistently as possible. So Lilo, the challenger does matter, and it's really, really strong with Diablo and Kuzco getting trades, and also Elsa to be able to find that extra 2 damage to take out, say, a Genie sideways if you end up matching up against a purple deck. So Lilo really strong. I did consider playing the Stitch so that you can attack ready characters, but with this list running 4 Elsas, you don't really need to attack ready stuff because you can just turn stuff yourself. And then Lilo being a free drop is huge for Strength of the Raging Fire, being able to put Lilo down on 3 with a Diablo and a Kuzco or a Diablo and a Calhoun on turn 1 and 2. Not doing anything with them other than questing because they're not going to want to trade in because of Calhoun. Then Lilo can just, on turn 4, sing Strength of the Raging Fire. You could play a Genie, for example, on that turn, draw cards. You've killed something of theirs, you've drew a card, you're questing, it's just all good curve, good value for clearing your opponent's board while developing your board. Okay, then last but not least, in 3 drops, minion wise, we have Pete. So Pete, obviously, we're playing a steel deck. You're going to want to play Pete, even though he's going to feel a little bit worse now because there isn't as much stuff you're trying to block out with Pete. He still comes in very, very nicely after you've done a Scar turn. So once you've done a Scar turn and you've tried to clear their board a little bit and you've kind of got more stuff on your side than your opponent, you're going to probably draw into a Pete with a Scar proc, which means you're going to be able to play Pete the next turn. You're going to protect your stuff. They're not going to play actions. Hopefully they're going to run out of steam and you can just run away with the game. Okay, moving on to our 4 drop. So we have Genie and technically we have Tinkerbell. So obviously Genie being the best 4 drop, being able to just play him down, evasive, quest for 2, draw a card. Everybody loves Genie, everybody hates Genie, depending on which way you're looking at it. But yeah, just a solid card. And then Tinkerbell obviously has a shift line 4. So if you're playing Tink on 3, you're always probably going to want to shift on 4 to try and trade something that's gone sideways and then ping something else off. Tinkerbell is just absolutely insane in this deck. Okay, then our 5 drops, we have Belle, 4 Elsa, and then 2 copies of Scar. So Belle, really good. Obviously, you're going to want to be rushing in with, say, an Elsa into something, and then the following turn you can move the damage with Belle. Gets past resist for like rhinos and stuff. There's not much stuff surviving trades to be able to do Belle, but I thought it was enough to be able to just include her a couple of times because there definitely is going to be times where you've got some damage on your characters that you want to remove. We have Elsa. Elsa obviously turning stuff sideways, having evasive and rush, just one of the best 5 drops in the game. So you have to include her. And then our new big boy Scar. So Scar is absolutely fantastic. The reason we're running Lawrence and Cobras is because of Scar. Also Tinkerbell. So getting some value off of Tinkerbell, being an ally, being able to buff it to 5 strength to be able to get a better trade so that you can activate Tinkerbell's ability, and then also being able to ditch a Tinkerbell to be able to draw 5 cards, and then especially if Tinkerbell's low willpower and they're just going to be taken out next turn anyway, being able to get rid of it yourself to get value is really good. And yeah, Scar is just overperformed in this deck, and I was going to include more copies, and I did, but he did end up coming in my hand a little bit too much, kind of like Doc, but obviously Scar's a lot harder to get rid of on being 5 ink and uninkable. So just 2 copies. You do always find it. Every game I've played, I've found a Scar, I've played a Scar, and I've got some value off of him. So he's really good. I definitely recommend trying this deck out. It is awesome. And then in our 6 drops, like I said, is Tinkerbell. You're not really playing her on 6, but obviously she is 6 cost. And there will be times where you do just want to drop her down. Like say you've done your Tinkerbell shenanigans and your Scar shenanigans, you drew into a second Tinkerbell, you're on turn 8, and you just want to play another one just to threaten the board. Absolutely fine, and obviously will scare your opponent into turning sideways because they're just going to lose stuff that they don't want to lose because of the ability on Tinkerbell. And then last but not least, our only action and song card, which is Strength of the Raging Fire. So this obviously coming back for set 9 is huge. One of the best songs in the game, very well balanced with needing a board developed for it to actually be good. With this deck, you're going to get that board developed and you're also going to get value off this strength. Really strong. It really helps with only having one action and one song in the deck, because if you're going up against Daisy Duck, for example, you're 90% of the time drawing a card, and you're not really going to hit Strength of the Raging Fire off a Daisy proc, so you're happy to just draw an extra card. Not that this deck necessarily needs it, you do have quite a lot of draw, but it always helps to draw more cards if your opponent's going to give it to you. So that is it for the deck. I hope you guys enjoy this one. It has been on Dreamborn for a little while, so make sure you check it out. Give it a thumbs up or a like over there, so that we can get it on the popular page. Also, the gameplay video will be going live at the same time as this one, so make sure you, like I said, head down to the description and check that out. They were some really fun games, and this deck is probably going to be the one I'm going to as soon as Fable's released on Friday. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I will see you in the next one.